Welcome to FantasyNook Bedtime Stories, where every night is an extraordinary journey into a world of dreams. Grab your favorite blanket and let's get ready for tonight's bedtime tale. The Little Tree's Emotional Journey in a Big, Peaceful Forest. There lived a young tree named Little Tree. He stood tall and green in a meadow. Unlike the other trees in the forest, Little Tree had a special ability. He could feel and show his emotions. When the spring sun warmed his bark, he felt incredibly happy. His leaves swayed gently in the breeze, as if they were dancing happily. But when a storm came, his branches drooped. His leaves lost their shine, and he looked sad and heavy. Little Tree's friends, including Squirrel Bird and Rabbit, often gathered around him to share laughter and sadness. They loved hearing Little Tree's stories and thought his life was full of magic. But deep inside, Little Tree began to realize that his feelings were stronger and more complex than other trees. As time passed, Little Tree grew and encountered more complicated situations, making it harder to control his emotions. One day, a sudden fierce storm hit them. The strong wind battered his leaves and branches, and thunder roared in the sky. Little Tree felt an unprecedented fear. Trembling and closing his leaves tightly. After the storm, the other trees and animals quickly returned to their lively, happy selves. But Little Tree couldn't shake off his fear. His leaves remained closed, and his emotions stayed trapped in the storm. Little Tree's friends, Squirrel and Bird, noticed his difference. They tried to help him regain happiness. Squirrel told fun forest stories, and Bird sang beautiful songs to comfort Little Tree. But no effort seemed to reach Little Tree's deep fear. When all seemed lost, a wise old owl named Alice visited the forest. Though rarely seen on the ground, she came to help the young tree after hearing about his troubles. Alice flew to Little Tree's branches and gently spoke to him with her experienced and gentle voice. She patiently listened to Little Tree's fears and began to explain how to face and manage his emotions. Alice told Little Tree an ancient forest secret that every tree has an inner world and can change its emotions through imagination. She taught him to create a safe place in his mind, always calm and peaceful regardless of the outer world. Alice also demonstrated several deep breathing techniques to help Little Tree calm his fears and anxiety. Little Tree tried Alice's methods for days. At first, he found it challenging to focus and calm his fears. But Squirrel and Bird didn't give up. They stayed by his side, encouraging and supporting him gradually. Little Tree felt a change in himself. When he closed his eyes, took deep breaths, and imagined standing in a sunny, peaceful meadow without any storms, his body relaxed, and his emotions gradually calmed. This method seemed to work. Little Tree's leaves slowly unfurled and danced in the wind again. One day, another storm. All the animals found shelter. But Little Tree wasn't as afraid anymore. He closed his eyes, took deep breaths, and imagined himself in that sunny meadow. Despite the fierce storm, Little Tree felt calm serenity. When the storm passed, the sun reappeared, and Little Tree realized he not only remained unharmed, but also felt an unprecedented strength and calm. Squirrel and Bird jumped onto Little Tree's branches, cheering for his growth as the seasons changed. Little Tree became better at controlling his emotions. He could stay calm in any weather and no longer panicked in storms. Just when Little Tree thought he had overcome all his fears, an unusual disturbance arose in the forest. One evening, the forest echoed with the piercing noise of humans and heavy machinery entering the woods to build a new facility. As the machines roared, trees fell one by one. Little Tree felt a new immense threat this time. It wasn't just a natural storm, but a fear of losing his home. Little Tree became extremely nervous and anxious. He tried to use the breathing and imagination techniques he learned, but found it challenging. The flood of fear made it almost impossible to maintain the quiet meadow in his heart. At this moment, Squirrel Bird and other forest friends rushed to Little Tree. They were very worried and unsure of what to do. Seeing their concerned faces, Little Tree suddenly had an idea. He decided to try and communicate with the human. The next morning, when the workers started their machinery again, Little Tree used all his strength to sway his crown unusually. This caught the attention of an engineer. He walked closer, observing Little Tree carefully and sensing something unusual. Little Tree felt the human's attention and tried to show his vitality and hoping to convey his fear and desire to survive. It was Little Tree's first attempt to directly communicate with humans. The fate of the entire forest rested on this moment of. The engineer's eyes softened as he observed Little Tree. After a while, he took out his phone and recorded a video of Little Tree swaying. Then he slowly returned to the operating area. Little Tree and his friends waited quietly, feeling uncertain and anxious soon. The engineer returned with a few colleagues and someone who seemed like a superior. They circled around the Little Tree, discussing and pointing to him and the surrounding area. Little Tree sensed that this was a crucial moment and tried his best to show his vitality and the forest's dependence on him. After the discussion, the apparent leader made a call and gestured repeatedly toward Little Tree and the surrounding area. After a while, they seemed to make a decision. One of the engineers gestured to Little Tree and the surrounding creatures, as if saying they no longer needed to worry. Hours later, the engineers adjusted their machines and changed the direction of their construction. They started to work a distance from Little Tree, clearly altering their construction plans. Little Tree saw everything, and though he didn't fully understand human language and actions, he could sense that the situation seemed to be improving. Taking a deep breath, Little Tree released a relaxed breath. His leaves gently swayed as if celebrating. His friend Squirrel Bird and other forest animals felt relieved and joyful. They jumped around Little Tree, sharing the joy of the moment. overlooking his friends. Little Tree realized that though managing emotions remained a lesson he needed to continue learning, he felt proud and satisfied for being able to protect himself and his friends from danger. As the construction shifted directions, life returned to peace for Little Tree and his friends. The forest regained its calm, and Little Tree continued to learn how to manage his emotions under the guidance of Mr. Alice, he gradually became more mature, able to handle various emotional fluctuations more stably. The forest animals often gathered around Little Tree, listening to his experience of communicating with humans, feeling his growth and change. Little Tree became an example in the forest, proving that even trees can communicate with humans and grow emotionally. As time passed, Little Tree grew into a big tree in the forest. Under his broad crown, animals from all over found comfort and guidance. He knew that every time he faced difficulties with courage, and he gained precious wealth in his growth. What a fantastic story. Thanks for sharing your bedtime with us. Make sure to subscribe and press the bell icon so you never miss our nightly journeys. Until next time, sleep tight and dream of fantastic places.